Okay, so you sent over this pretty wild article based on a transcript from Larken Rose.
Mhm.
And on the surface, it seems like it's advocating for like total obedience to the government.
Right.
Just pay every tax, obey every law.
Yeah, just like give up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely surrender to authority.
Yeah.
So you might be thinking, why are we even diving into this? But
Right.
there's actually something a lot more interesting going on here.
Exactly. The sheer extremity of the claims in this piece, I think immediately signals that there might be something more at play here
Yeah,
than a genuine endorsement of authoritarianism.
right.
When you first read it, you almost get the feeling that you're waiting for a punchline.
Yeah, it lays out the scenario where citizens just like fork over their money, no questions asked,
Yep.
follow every single rule to the letter,
Right.
and basically hand over their brains to the people in charge.
Yeah, just completely surrender any individual judgment.
Right. And it goes so far as to say that thinking for yourself is like the ultimate sin.
Yeah, the biggest societal problem.
Right. And that a perfect society only pops up when everyone just blindly obeys.
Yeah.
So it's like, no why, no how, just a cheerful yes, sir to everything.
Right.
It really pushes this idea that questioning anything the government does or how it uses resources is totally off limits.
Yeah.
And it takes it even further by saying that we should ditch our own sense of right and wrong and just blindly trust that the government always knows what's best.
Yeah, it presents this really kind of one-sided power dynamic
Yeah.
where the government is infallible.
Right. So before we even get into the satire angle, did anything about how this was written strike you as unusual?
Yeah, I think what really stood out to me was the almost exaggerated language
Yeah.
used to describe the supposed benefits of this total submission.
Yeah.
It's so over the top it almost becomes comical,
Right.
which really makes you pause and consider if it's actually meant to be taken at face value.
Exactly. It's like this world where questioning authority isn't just like impolite, it's
Right.
like fundamentally wrong.
It's the ultimate sin.
Yeah. Right. And these leaders are painted as these perfect, all-knowing beings
Yeah.
who only want what's best for us.
Right.
So our job is to just like trust them blindly.
Yeah.
And this culminates in the idea that independent thought, that very human tendency to question and analyze,
Right.
is somehow the biggest societal problem.
Exactly.
So when you step back, it feels less like a serious political argument
Right.
and more like a deliberate exaggeration.
You're like a thought experiment almost.
Right, because this idea that a perfect society just springs from total surrender,
Uh-huh.
it's almost too neat, too simple.
Exactly. And I think that's where the brilliance of this piece lies.
Okay.
Because Larken Rose isn't genuinely advocating for this kind of mindless obedience.
Right.
He's using this extreme scenario, this irony, to deliver a really sharp critique of any system
Okay.
that demands unquestioning loyalty.
So it's making us, the listeners, think about what happens when we just kind of surrender our judgment.
Exactly. It's a warning sign about the dangers of not thinking critically
Yeah.
and accepting things at face value.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well, I think this deep dive into Larken Rose's article reveals a powerful, albeit satirical message about the dangers of unthinking obedience.
Okay.
By exaggerating the idea of compliance, the author actually shines a spotlight on the critical importance of individual thought,
Right.
moral reasoning, and healthy skepticism towards authority.
And what's so fascinating here is the use of irony as a tool for this commentary.
Right.
It raises an important question in your own life. Where might you be accepting things at face value without really engaging your critical thinking?
Yeah. Are there areas where you've kind of just accepted the status quo without questioning it?
Yeah, what are the subtle ways that pressure from society or even your own desire for order might lead to a degree of unquestioning acceptance, and
Right.
what could be the potential downsides of that?
That's something to think about.
Definitely something to mull over.